Hello YouTube, this is Tyler from Outside Boys, and this is going to be part 2 with the four-wheeler diesel swap. I got the clutch, I got everything I need, and I'm hopefully going to be able to get it done in this video, maybe not. So let's get started. Okay, here we go. Here's the whole clutch system that I bought. I've already unboxed it, looked at it. It's simple. Right now the engine is bolted to this, means I was running it a little bit just to let it run, and then I had to shave down this shaft because the clutch wouldn't fit. The original clutch we bought was just a normal clutch that you change just direct hooks to, and then it was too small, so we bought this one hoping we could just bolt it right up, and it was also too small. So I just didn't want to do anything else with buying another one and returning this one and everything. So I just decided to shave the shaft down on the engine, which is not good for the engine necessarily, but it'll work. And then this just bolts right up to the side of the engine. Normally, it would go exactly on the engine, how the directions tell you to put it on the engine. Toward this shaft that sticks out the back right there will be facing toward the back of the engine, but I have this line since this is a diesel engine. This is made for like 225 Predator engines and stuff like that. It's not made for diesel engines, so I'm gonna have to put it out towards the front instead and turn the engine around backwards to get it to fit, which is gonna look a little bit different. It'll still work. I'm going to set y'all down right quick. See if I can bolt that up. And I'll find a spot for y'all to sit and pick it back up. There we go. That's a spot for y'all to sit. I'm pretty sure it's a 10 mil. Yep. Yeah, guys. I'll pick it back up. There we go. I'm going to hand tighten them first. And there is a lot of these holes inside this gear to where you could adjust it to whichever way you want it. But I'm putting it this way just because it's easier. I need a tripod's what I need. And that'll make all this a whole lot easier. Make sure all these are tight. That one is, that one is, that one is, and that one is. Perfect. So now the next thing is take these two in this and put the drive washer on first, the spacer on next, this gear on next. Make sure you line up that, then this little thing. Don't know its exact purpose. And the last step is put that on, which is right there. Get this bolt assembly thing. And get it on there. So I'm going to set y'all down again, just so I can do it easier. Oh, this bolt may not be long enough. No? Bolt's not long enough. Weird. I have to take something out. I'm trying to take that out because I need that at least. Now maybe it'll fit. Still doesn't thread. Alright, I'm gonna get this other part of the clutch on there and then pick it back up when I'm done with that. Okay, I got the clutch system on and everything. The next step is unbolting the mounting plate from here, cutting this bar out the middle, probably is too, because it may be in my way, and figuring out where I'm gonna put the mounting plate in there to put the engine in there. That's the next step. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera, just so the video's not too long. The first thing I'm gonna do is cut the bar out and unbolt the engine, then I'll pick it back up and see how progress is going. There we go, I got all the brackets unmounted, got the gas can on that I'm going to use. I'm not going to use the one that came on it, I'm going to use that one. Get the engine already unbolted, and it's ready to put in. I don't know where I'm going to put it at. The engine's over here. Took the old gas tank off of it to run the normal gas tank to look like a normal four-wheeler. I still do not know where I'm going to put the engine on it yet. It's going to have to go somewhere where this clutch will line up with the chain, obviously. I do not think I could carry it one-handed. No, I don't think I'm going to be able to. So what I'll do is I'll get it in the frame and then pick it back up with it in the frame, see what it looks like, and see where to place it, and then I'll weld the bracket there in place and bolt the engine and then hook the chain up and stuff like that. So I guess I'll go and carry the engine over there and then pick it back up when I get it on the frame. So I got it on the frame, and this is basically where it's going to have to sit to be lined up with that sprocket lined up with this. It's where it's basically going to have to be. It may come over to the right a little bit, but that's going to be sticking out a lot. It is going to clear the tire. That's full lock steering. But I'm going to have to build a frame, like out here, somehow, to where then I can run the engine like that. And the exhaust is right where that frame piece was. I may have to direct the exhaust somewhere. May have to. This is going to be interesting. The center of gravity is definitely going to be off of the engine way over here. So I'm going to have to figure out something to make this work. I don't know what I'm going to do, but something's going to have to be done to where then that could happen. I'll probably build a frame from this bar out somewhere here-ish to probably here. Means if I pull it out too much farther than that, there's going to be kind of close to the tire. That's not going to be too much room. And another problem I'm going to run into is this engine is going to be covered in mud. Generally, they're covered in mud, but this entire engine's out right in a sling mud path. I don't think that's what it's called, but that's what I'm going to call it. And then pulling this to crank the engine after you go mudding is going to be almost impossible because there's going to be so much mud and dirt clogged up in that, it's going to be very hard to pull. So I'm going to figure out something. And technically the directions said to put that gear over here. But when I did that, and how I had to bolt it up to the engine up here, it didn't line, this belt did not line up with these two pulleys. So I had to shift it out here and trim it down some to make it line up. So I couldn't put this where it's supposed to be, because I have the directions somewhere here. That's not it. Yeah, the directions should be... No, that's not it. They're right here. Found them. Maybe they were somewhere right here. Directions for the clutch system. And I still do have the cover that's down there in that box. And the only thing the directions said is when you open them is this. This is it. And you can see on this, that gear is supposed to go in between the pulley and that metal. Is where it's supposed to go. It won't go there. And I did also try to put the gear out here to where I can slide the engine almost all the way through. But the gear also won't fit out here because there's not a notch. Well, it's not designed that way. I was hoping it was, because then I could put the engine in the smack center of the frame, and then it would be very solid and easy to work on. Well, it wouldn't be easy to work on the engine, but I hope I don't have to work on this engine very much. So that's where I'm stuck. If I was to build a frame, it would have to be a frame that comes out about 6 inches and then goes back it's not quite lined up. Give me just a second. Because I'd run it from that post somewhere, somehow. Probably like that. And out 20 inches, just about. So I have to run it 6 inches wide, 20 inches long. Which is going to completely remove my foot things. Because they go right here. And they stick up about this tall. So I cannot have my foot things out here with that there. So I'm going to have to make custom foot rest and everything. Which I didn't want to do. What I may be able to do, which I might try first, is the rack these foot things are on, just bolt straight to the frame there and stick out. I may be able to put the mounting plate right here on top of one of these foot plate things. Just replace it with the mounting rack and it bolt directly right there. Just bolt up. Maybe. And I still am going to have to build a frame that comes out or somehow to run here, because this frame right there is not supported at all, except for just on the other side, which I need that support. There's a lot that I'm going to have to think about and figure out. You know, to run this hose up to here, and this gas line down to here, so I'm going to just stretch all the lines, which isn't going to be that hard to do, I don't think. I guess what I'll go ahead and do is pull out the angle grinder, cut one of these foot things off, and see if it would mount just one of the foot things cut off, and go from there. If it will, then I won't have to make any custom brackets or anything to hold the engine up, I hope. And then somehow I have to put the other foot bracket somewhere else to where I still have somewhere for my feet to sit. Because I need somewhere for my feet to sit. And then these tires are going to go on the back. So we're going to have some kind of tires. Because right now those tires are obviously not going to work. They're bald and a whole lot shorter than the front tires. They're wider, but shorter. And those of y'all that go mudding quite a bit, the wider tires are actually worse for mudding. So when I'm sitting on this thing, the one footrest is going to be about there, and then this is where the other footrest would sit. So, and I don't want my foot way out here, because that would not be comfortable riding. So I may put my footrest there-ish. I don't know, that still wouldn't be too comfortable. It'd be pretty hard to ride, actually, because here's a shifter. All the way down's first, one click up, second, third, fourth, neutral, reverse. So it'd be pretty hard to drive. There's only one brake. Well, there's another brake back here. I don't think I can hook it up. Because this is also designed for this side. So I have two left side brakes. And nothing for the right side. So I may just take this brake hose off and just only have front brakes, which would be fine. I just have to watch out going off-road so I don't just grab the front brakes and roll it. Because I do not know if that diesel engine can roll and still run. At least I'll have to make some kind of custom, because I'm going to put a front rack on it. So I'm going to make something custom to put a front rack on it. And maybe probably see a aluminum bumper. And there is all the plastics for it over here. So it's not just going to be a frame with a diesel engine and a front and rear rack. It's going to look a little bit better than that, I hope. So I guess what I'll go and do is pause the video again. Cut that foot thing off. And see if I can just bolt or weld the mounting plate to the foot thing and bolt the engine to it. Well, I'll see y'all in a little bit when I get that done. Okay, here we go. I did end up getting the chain on and everything just to see if everything would line up. And that's straight chain. Engines in there pretty straight. The bolt holes do line up. Crap, I just slid the engine too much. There we go, those line up. And the front ones also line up. That's how the engine's going to have to sit in there. One foot rest, and then the other one is over there. So I have to somehow make it fit in here. But first, before I bolt the engine, before I find out my footrest sitting, before I put any plastics on it, and hook the fuel up and the lines and everything, I'm going to have to weld this before all that gets done. And make sure that's not going anywhere first. Everything else is already done. Need to weld that. That's the next step. So it means I'll have to set my welder up and everything, which I'm not going to film that neither. If I could learn how to do the fast forward thing, then I would film a whole lot more of these videos. But since I do not know how to do the fast forward, I cannot film more of these videos. Well, I can film more of them. It's just not going to be you seeing the whole process. You're just going to see how it's coming along. So I'm going to have to figure out how to fast forward videos to show y'all welding and everything that I do. And I'm still going to have to make some kind of bracket to cover this distance where the exhaust is going to be. And I may just redesign this whole top framing and put a different exhaust on it or something. I don't know yet. I'll figure that out when that time gets here. But for now, I'm going to weld that bracket, bolt the engine down, and when I'm done with that, I'll pick it back up when I'm done with that. Sorry guys, I've just been playing around with it and ended up getting the engine on there, getting all the lines and everything hooked up, getting the chain hooked up, getting the engine bolted, getting everything welded. The plates already welded. Not the best welds, but they're solid. That's all that really matters. I may tighten this later, and it's a little bit wobbly, but not too bad. I do not know how it's gonna go. I did just fire it up and I was about to test it, and then I realized I need to film because I forgot to. So the process of starting it isn't that complicated. You just have a fuel lever right here. This is also your how much it revs. All the way down is obviously dumping as much fuel into the engine as it can. So that's full throttle basically. Half, and then if you flip it all the way up, it will not run. It just shuts it off. So I generally try to keep it above half or half. You do that, you pull this until it resists, slow it back, push this down, and then you just pull this one good time and it should crank. Oh yeah. It moves on its own. So I guess this, it moves, it drives, it runs. So I guess that finishes part 2. I may try to hook the throttle up in this video actually as well. I gotta find neutral again. That's reverse. So one click down. That should be neutral, I think. If I can push it, the chain does not spin, then that's neutral. That is a gear. Because that's definitely a gear. Yeah. That's a gear. So that means I should be able to slide it down to there-ish, and that'd be neutral. Yep, there we go, I found neutral. So there we go. I found neutral. It drives forward and backwards. I don't think y'all seen the part of it driving forward, though. Here's the throttle. Got it hooked up to a thumb throttle. Like 90% of four-wheelers have. Almost 100%. But some people put them with twist throttles. So that's obviously your brakes right here. You just have throttle, brake, and some gears. Apparently, it's spinning backwards. So your reverse is your actual forward. And your forward gears is your reverse. So the engine's actually spinning the opposite way that I thought it would be. So your gears are backwards. Which isn't hard to deal with, really. Oh, that got looser, I feel like. Need to tighten that back up, then. So I guess I'll go ahead and try to hook up the throttle. I only had a different throttle end, because this end's not going to hook to anything, honestly. So I made a different throttle end, which means I need to take that apart. Then I need a new foot peg thing, since I only have one, because this one, the engine's sitting where it used to be. And of course, I dropped the screwdriver. Okay. That's still not all the way off yet. That one's all the way out now. That one's all the way out. Gently set that down so I don't lose the washer or anything. And now here's the throttle thing. Here's the throttle cable that I'm not going to end up using, because it only has one end that I could use. See if I got a throttle cable back here. And spare parts pile. I do not think I do. It's not looking like I have a throttle cable in spare parts pile number 1. What about the other spare parts pile? Which is in here. Is there any throttle cables in the spare parts pile number 2? Nope. What about down here? Oh, yep, there is. This is a bit longer. Or I think this is actually a brake cable. As long as it fits up here, then it will work. It's a brake cable for a 50cc scooter. That's why it has this bolt and spring on the end. With that bolt and the spring, I should be able to rig up to over there. At least if I know it quits driving, there's 2 things that can go wrong, either the belt or the chain. And they're both easy to get to. Twisting this off to where I could possibly use it. I think I can use this, actually. I have no clue, though. I'm gonna guess. Come on, there we go. Perfect. Do not lose the bolt or the spring. Put them here. I need that off, actually. But not gonna worry about that as of this second. Now, let's see if this... And it doesn't fit there, but there is a solution for that. Where would it be? Pair of cutters. That's my solution. Let's see if I could bend this out a little. Bend this one out a little. Not bend out enough, I don't think. There we go. Now that cable should fit. Or I could obviously try to cut one of these off, which these cutters are not going to cut one of these off. Or I could just bend it like that and then throw this in there, then bend it back down. If I could hold on to it. There we go. Perfect. Now all I need to do is just bend that back down. Which I can do that right about now. Bend. And bend. Obviously I cannot do that too much or else that cable will just break. And I'm speaking from experience at that point, because I have broke several cables or metal things just by bending it several different times. Metal will only bend a couple times before it breaks. Plastic can bend a few times before it breaks. But generally, if you bend plastic enough, it just breaks after one bend. Okay. Throw that throttle up under the chains system. Chain pulley system thing. This may definitely be a little too long. But at least the good thing is I cannot say it doesn't fit. It 100% fits. I just do not know how to connect it. Okay, so I'm done with part 2. It's running and driving. There's the end, kind of the end look. Part 3, I'll tighten the chain up a little bit. Get it actually running and driving, get the throttle and everything hooked up, get the body back on it, get it done. Off camera, I ended up somehow jacking up the transmission box thing, whatever this is, and we had to fix it. We think we fixed it. Y'all find out in part 3. And obviously we'll put the tires on it that we're going to put on it. So that's all for part 2. Stay tuned on this channel, Outside Boys, to find this thing running and driving on part 3. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Like and leave a comment down below if you have any other ideas. Because it really helps, and I'm trying to reach 500 subscribers by the time it gets to a year. So I'll see you part 3, and we'll finish this 4-wheeler, and then I'll test drive it. And maybe part 4 before I test drive it, and just part 3 to finish it. I don't know. Y'all will see when I get done with those videos.